So the context for this this particular course is a vision of scale. That is what we've been exploring over the last couple of years. Online learning took off, I don't know, 10 years ago with the concept of a MOOC, a massive open online course. There are now lots of MOOCs out there, but they really have the disadvantage of essentially being one-way delivery mechanisms supported by, quizzes. And so they're not particularly, I mean, they have their role, but they really are not the kind of education that entrepreneurship in particular demands. And so what we have been working to create here is a high-touch MOOC, if you will, right? It's a course that has the ability to scale in the way a MOOC does, but also ensures that students have access to faculty in small groups to be able to actually work together and test and develop their projects. It's all enabled by Rebelbase, the software that sort of brings all this together. And we believe this is a very powerful innovation that has the potential to reach hundreds of schools and tens of thousands of students around the world. And that's at the heart of what we're trying to do. We're embedding this particular course, social entrepreneurship, in a 3-course certificate sequence. It's a global certificate in social enterprise and leading change that's offered through the Open Society University Network. Essentially what we've done is taken 3 courses from the BARD MBA in Sustainability program, the #1 green MBA in the country the last 2 years running. And we've been adapting them to this global classroom approach and this kind of platform. The 3 courses include a foundations course, indeed our MBA foundations course, suitably modified. It's called Sustainable Development and Social Enterprise. And this introduces students to the idea of enterprise solutions, both for-profit and nonprofit, to social and environmental challenges. Students are used to thinking about, government solutions or philanthropic solutions or education solutions. They're not used to thinking about, well, I care about water pollution or I care about gender equity. I could start an organization. I could start a company or a nonprofit to solve those problems. The second class is the social entrepreneurship class. And then the third course is a course in leading change for sustainability. And this focuses actually on driving change within existing organizations and stakeholder engagement in particular. If you're a student, often the kind of project you would do in this class would be a campus as a laboratory project, or if you were in an MBA program, it might be a project within your business. It's essentially a sustainable business minor, 3-course business minor for non-business majors. And our vision really is to create a low-cost, accessible certificate program that universities all across the world can plug into their existing curricula easily to support the scaling vision that we have in mind. So that's a little bit of the context. And again, just a huge thank you to all of the faculty and Alejandro's team, Eliza Edge and Tomas and others, for just inventing this thing, because no one else in the world is doing anything like this. And I think it really is the future of meaningful and effective education in this space.
Having all these project builders, for example, and all the information on them was so good. Like, I personally recommended this platform to the organizers of the academy because we had a huge problem there with not having access to all the materials in one place. And having this here in a structured way with all kinds of guides, for example, here, the people that are gonna get access to all this information are really gonna see that it's super useful, especially having everything in one place is so good. And it really helps put everything into perspective, because even the moment that you see everything that is awaiting, you kind of start feeling the weight of actually creating a business, whether it be a social enterprise or not. and it really makes you consider whether you are cut out for this or not. So it sounds like an amazing thing to create social change through social enterprise or something. But when you really have to get down to it, and when you really have to complete one builder per week, that's when you really test yourself to see if you actually want to go into this field or not.
Because we're guiding students to make a change. But we all know that change does not happen in one semester. We can't fix broken systems in one semester. We enable the students to discover their powers and to be effective in the society, you know? And one of the outcomes that I always thought that I would measure is after the course ends. You know, I will watch the students, I will watch the teams after the course ends. Are they really going through what they started? Are they really still having this mentality of like, we want to change, we want to make a change, we want to fix those broken systems? And this what actually makes me proud when I look back to the students after each semester. Like now we've had 2 semesters teaching the course, and I have so many students who they are still working on their projects, who they started another project. I have a student, a team that started their project 2 years ago, and now they have an actual venture called Clean Palco. And this is something that makes us co-instructors very proud, because we changed the mentality of those young entrepreneurs. We didn't just deliver a class for 1 semester. We also have a team that won a micro grant, the team Fight Against Femicide. They won a micro grant, and they have a club now at AQB called Fight Against Femicide. They are spreading awareness about women's rights, women issues. We have a student who got accepted to the Get Engaged conference that's going to be participating in next July. We have a team in Vistapir who won the Disrupt to Sustain competition, and they are filming a documentary on their project next summer. So this is what makes us proud as co-instructors, just to see the change in the students themselves, wanting to make a change. And this is really hard, you know, because we can always write objectives, you know, and outcomes of the course, but how do you actually measure and witness those outcomes?
This topic that Dalia mentioned of sustainability of projects beyond the course and the semester itself, that for me is the main outcome. And 2 of our projects that were created with the help of this course are continuing, and students say, because they're graduating this year, they will continue working afterwards. One of them is they are developing the app and learning after they have created the prototype in the course. They're learning how to extend its functions. And another course is creating a book for visually impaired children. They have created this spring an improved prototype after the first prototype from the fall, and they have already given this improved prototype as a test to a school for blind children in Belarus, and they're planning to expand their project even more after they graduate. So this is the most exciting, and they also got a grant from OSUN to support this project. So these are the exciting outcomes, really.
And we have a report coming out shortly, which is drawn on an analysis of anonymous interviews with students throughout the network, as well as ourselves as faculty. And it examines gains in critical thinking, especially in this, as combined with opportunity recognition, where we often think of critical thinking as what we do as close readers of texts. In this experience, we're thinking critical about the world around us. Let me say that again. In this experience, we're thinking critically about the world around us and combining that with seeking opportunities to do with what Sebastian talked about at the beginning, which is launch experiments ourselves to make change. The same is true, for example, for collaboration. And I won't go through all these bullets because I don't want to take the time, but where if you read a business press article, it's all about homogenous teams who are all aligned and thinking the same way. No, we were crossing functions, cultures, backgrounds, missions, and learning from each other about what we could create. And that, if I've learned anything, is how innovation occurs.